Hi everyone, welcome to week 3 of English97. I hope you guys are looking forward to starting our first essay. So I know that sometimes when we hear the word essay, we kind of freak out in our minds. But we're going to do this over the course of the next couple of weeks. And just like the paragraph assignment that we wrapped up in week 1 and 2, this is going to go through the same process. And even if it's not perfect, I just want you to remember that we are going to improve throughout the semester. And this video is going to focus primarily on invention strategies, which is really how do you get started. So that's all we're doing this week. We're going to talk about the topic for essay 1 and then just how do you get your idea down. And then next week, we'll actually start writing. So let's talk about the assignments for this week real quick. Excuse me. We've got readings for week 3. Use What Worked chapter 4 talks about invention. So these are those kind of pre-writing, before you start writing activities. And then there is a TED Talk for this week called How to Use Creative Writing to Bear Witness. There's a quiz on those readings on Thursday, and then a discussion board related to your essay 1 topic on Thursday as well. I am giving you guys a journal opportunity for extra credit. We'll do this a couple times this semester, so not required. But if you'd like to get a little extra credit or do a little more writing, then that's up to you. So let's talk about essay 1. This assignment sheet is on Blackboard under our week 3 folder. You'll see, let me actually go to Blackboard real quick. You will see when you go to our essays and assignments, you'll see there's a new folder here titled Essay 1 Week 3. That's what we're doing. So you click on Essay 1. Here are all of the materials for week 3, including the readings I mentioned, the quiz, and then the assignment sheet for Essay 1. So let's talk about this assignment real quick. This is actually inspired by the TED Talk that you're going to watch this week, but the assignment says we'll be writing about either a time in your life that you would like to repeat or a time you would not want to live through again, even for $1 million. So this I'm titling In the Past. Essentially, I want you to choose an experience that you've lived through and you would either love to do again or never want to go through. I think what we've experienced can be really great inspiration for our writing, and also this will help you to practice what is really important to any piece of writing, which is a thesis statement. So a couple other things. The assignment says make sure you choose a topic you'll feel comfortable writing about and sharing with others. I know that, sometimes when we choose these topics or these events that have happened to us that are really difficult and challenging, sometimes they can be really personal. You do not have to choose something like that if you're not comfortable with it. But if you are, or if this is something that you think writing about could help you to kind of process an experience, then full speed ahead. Then we're going to talk about thesis statements here as well. We're going to be writing thesis statements to help you focus your writing. So this is going to be 1 or 2 sentences that describe your experience and why it's important. It'll usually go at the end of your first paragraph, which will start, in week 4. But eventually, you'll want to have about 3 pages for this essay, but I'm not saying you need 3 pages this week. All right. Eventually, at the end of week 5, you should have 3 pages, but we'll get there. So this week, we're doing invention. Next week, drafting, and then week 5, revising. So very similar to the process for our paragraph. So I just have some questions I wanted to offer you when you actually watch the TED Talk for this week. This TED Talk is by a writer named Sakina Holfler, and she is a really cool writer and activist, but she talks about using writing to what she calls bear witness. So when you watch this video, I want you to kind of ask yourself, what does it mean to bear witness to something we've experienced? She also talks about her writing process, which I think is really valuable for us because that's what we're doing. Why do you think she takes the steps that she does? And how might that compare to your writing process? She also says that writing about experiences can help take back our power. And I want you guys to think about what she means by this. What does it mean to have power over experiences that you've had? And how can writing help us do that? And then finally, she talks about creative writing. But I want you to think too about how, do you think you have to be creative to be a good writer? It's not always, if you don't feel like you're the most creative or exciting or, inspirational writer, that's okay, at least for me. and for our class. But I think it's a really great video to just kind of get some discussion going. Feel free to also talk about this in our discussion board. So the other topic, or the writing strategy we're focusing on this week is invention. So your textbook talks about 6 different strategies that you may have heard of before, that you may have tried, and they're all listed here and also discussed in your book. Free writing is something we did with our paragraphs, which is where you just start writing and you don't stop. You get everything on paper without judging it. This is something I know a lot of students find helps and works for them. But other options, oral invention is where you talk with someone else and they write down ideas as you talk. Brainstorming is making a list, kind of like this text messaging example here. And then you can also pick one of those and then make a list of main ideas about it. I am a big list maker, so brainstorming like this is my favorite. But if that doesn't work for you, no big deal. Questioning is very helpful as well. So you put a topic or an experience down and you make a list of questions about it. Clustering is like this mind map here. You've probably done that before or seen it. That's also a great way to go. And then finally, they talk about drawing. If you're kind of a visual person, sometimes literally just kind of stick figure out your topic can get you sort of thinking in the right mindset. So what I want you to do in our discussion board is to choose one of these for this week and then try it out for our essay 1. So here's one that I did, a clustering or a mind map on in the past. So what you do is you put the topic in the middle, and then around it you kind of add examples and then break that down further. So I chose 4 different experiences I've had, good and bad. Moving to Japan, meeting my husband, getting my master's degree. Then I was also in a very bad car accident 6 years ago, Tuesday actually. So the car accident, obviously, I probably wouldn't want to repeat that. And then it's interesting to think about what I want to repeat moving to Japan. I don't know. But see here, I've got these different experiences, and then I sort of jotted down just ideas I could talk about if I did that. And then another thing you can do is narrow it down further. If you already have an experience in mind, like this, I made another mind map with just meeting my husband in the middle, and then all the details around it are about that experience. This is one way that you can kind of figure out what your topic's going to be, but if you're not a fan of mind maps, try something else. The idea is that you just want to choose what works for you, all right? So once you've done that, once you've kind of done some invention, what you want to do is think about your thesis. So this will really be important when we start drafting next week. So from your readings last week and the quiz, we should hopefully know now that a thesis is 1 or 2 sentences, usually comes at the end of your introduction, that gives your topic and your so what. Essentially, this essay, it's going to tell me what's your experience and why is it important, or why is it something you would want to repeat or not. So for example here, I went with meeting my husband, and my thesis could be, the night I met my husband is a very positive and strong memory, and it showed me that you find the best people in the most unlikely places. And that I decided maybe I wanted to do something that I really would love to repeat. It was a really fun night, and it's a great memory we still talk about even now, 8 years later. But if your thesis is essentially what's going to help you focus your draft. All right, so once you've done your invention, then I want you to think about your thesis. And this is what our discussion board focuses on in week 3. So next week, we'll start drafting. We are here in this kind of beginning stages. If you want to start writing once you've done our discussion board, that's totally fine. But we're going to talk about drafting and sort of how to fit this all into an essay next week. So good luck, everybody, and I will see you online.